All right, let's dive into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. A living, breathing ecosystem inside a jet engine. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a place literally engineered to destroy life, but as we're about to find out, life is way more stubborn than we think.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How can anything, any living thing, possibly hang on in a machine that's all about scorching heat, insane pressures, and toxic fuel? It's a fantastic biological puzzle, so let's get into how it actually works. And just look at this slide. This really puts the mind-boggling contrast front and center. On one side, you've got the jet engine's world, hotter than lava, chaotic, and soaked in chemicals. And on the other side, the simple stuff most life needs, some stability, a little water, a bit of peace and quiet. Honestly, these two columns look like they belong on different planets, which is what makes this whole thing so incredible.
And yet, scientists have confirmed it. This impossible home is in fact somebody's home. So how in the world do they do it? Well, the secret isn't about facing the fire head-on. It's all about finding a little bit of sanctuary in the middle of a storm.
Here's the first big aha moment. These microbes aren't some kind of superheroes toughing it out in the 1400-degree combustion chamber. Nothing could survive that. No, instead, they survive in the niches, these tiny, hidden, protected pockets where conditions are, somehow, just right. Understanding these little sanctuaries is the key to the whole story. We're talking about survival on a microscopic scale, finding shelter in places you would never, ever think to look. So let's see what these safe havens actually are.
The official scientific term for one of these hideouts is a microenvironment. But really, just think of it like finding a cool, damp little cave inside a blazing hot desert. The desert itself will kill you, but that one tiny pocket creates a totally different world where you can actually survive.
So where are these little caves in an engine? Well, this slide shows they're kind of everywhere. Deep in the fuel tanks, right where the fuel meets tiny bits of water. That's prime real estate. Or on the compressor blades, which are in the cooler parts of the engine, far from the inferno. Even microscopic cracks in the metal can trap just enough moisture for life to grab a foothold.
Okay, so finding a safe spot is one thing. But to actually live there, these microbes have developed this amazing toolkit of biological tricks. Let's dig into how they do it, starting with their #1 line of defense.
They build fortresses. Seriously, it's not just one microbe fighting the world alone. They actually team up and create a defensive structure that shields the whole community from the crazy world just outside. And this fortress has a name. It's called a biofilm. As you can see here, it's a pretty simple but totally brilliant process. First, a few microbes latch onto a surface. Then, and this is the key part, they start secreting this protective slime. This slime shield is like a magic ingredient. It traps water, it holds on to nutrients, and it physically protects the whole community from heat, chemicals, and all that turbulence. It's basically a self-made, self-sustaining city wall.
So, what's on the menu inside a jet engine? Well, for some of these microbes, the answer is the jet fuel. What's a deadly poison for almost everything else on Earth is for them, dinner.
So let me introduce you to the superstar of this whole ecosystem, a fungus called Hormoconus resini. This thing is an absolute master of its environment. It hangs out right at that fuel-water line we talked about, and it pumps out enzymes that literally break down and digest the toxic hydrocarbons in jet fuel. It turns poison into life. But how does it not just dissolve? I mean, that's a great question, right? Jet fuel is a powerful solvent. Take a look here. A normal cell membrane would just get torn apart. But these microbes, they've evolved these super tough, specialized cell membranes packed with lipids that are basically like microscopic armor, stopping the fuel from breaking them down. And what about between flights? When the engine's off, cold, dry, and just sitting there? They basically go into suspended animation. A lot of these microbes can form spores. Think of it like a biological time capsule. They turn into these incredibly tough, dormant husks that can just wait, surviving extreme heat, dryness, chemicals for months, even years, until conditions get better and it's time to wake up. So we've got these tiny, unbelievably tough survivors, and while that's fascinating biology, their existence has some very serious real-world consequences for aviation. This isn't just a fun fact, it's a major safety and engineering challenge. And just look at some of these risks. Those biofilms we just talked about, they can grow thick enough to clog up fuel filters, which could lead to an engine flameout. They can block up pumps and delicate little valves. And maybe the scariest part, their waste products can literally eat away at the metal parts of the engine itself. This quote gets at a really critical idea: microbiologically influenced corrosion, or MIC. What it means is that these microbes aren't just sitting there, they are actively changing the chemistry around them. A lot of their byproducts are acidic, and that acid directly corrodes the metal alloys in fuel tanks and engine parts, weakening the plane's structure over time.
Because these risks are so high, the aviation industry wages a constant war against them. This table shows it's a multi-layered attack. They use chemicals called biocides to kill them. They regularly drain out water to get rid of their habitat, and they even use special antimicrobial coatings on surfaces to stop those biofilms from ever getting started.
But this story is bigger than just aviation safety. The unbelievable survival of these microbes teaches us some pretty profound lessons about life itself and its potential to exist far, far beyond our little world.
You see, these organisms belong to a special class of life called Extremophiles. They are the absolute champions of survival. They're constantly showing us that the boundaries for where life can exist are way wider than we ever imagined, from deep-sea volcanoes to, yes, the inside of a jet engine.
And this is where the implications get truly cosmic. Studying how these little guys conquer a man-made hellscape gives us direct clues for one of the biggest scientific questions ever. Are we alone in the universe?
I mean, think about it. If life can figure out how to make a living in the toxic, high-pressure, turbulent world of a jet engine, well, couldn't it also figure out a strategy for the crazy clouds of Jupiter? Or what about the lakes of liquid methane on Titan? That's not all that different from a pool of jet fuel. The jet engine has become this bizarre, accidental laboratory for what might be possible out there in space. And that really leaves us with this one final, powerful thought. A jet engine is a place we humans specifically built to be sterile and hostile, and yet life found a way. It adapted, it moved in, and it thrived. So if life can conquer a place designed from the ground up to eradicate it, where else out there in the universe might it be hiding, just waiting for us to find it?